Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for 500 subscribers. Like, that's kind of crazy. You know, that's just a little crazy. But again, thank you guys so much for subscribing, liking, all that good stuff. You know, it's been a fun journey. We're about a year and a half into this, and we're already at 500. You know, I've had friends who never even hit 500, and they've been doing this for longer than I have, or some who have actually done really well now, but it took them forever to just get to 100. So, guys, all I can say is thank you so much for 500 subscribers. It's kind of crazy, you know? I'm going to do this whole bit again, because it's pretty crazy, okay? I'm just saying that. All that said, though, I have always hinted and given you little tips of why, but today we're gonna do a rant on why I don't like Yoshi. You know, the funny thing is, I actually love Yoshi. Yoshi in every other game besides Super Smash Bros. Is the most amazing character. Like, when Super Mario Galaxy 2 said we're gonna have Yoshi in it, I was ecstatic. And you know, he can do a lot of cool stuff, you know, like Infinite Flutter and all that good stuff, but somehow in Super Smash Bros., he was right here. You know, he was soaring high, and then he just fell and just fell, and now he's not even on the screen. That's how bad he is. Okay, that's how bad he is. Not because his record and his tier list position is bad, but because his design is bad in this game. Now you might be asking yourself, well, what do you mean his design is bad? I mean, he kind of looks like Yoshi. He does a lot of Yoshi kind of things. And you're right. They represented his moves well. And for the most part, he pretty much acts like Yoshi should. So what's the problem? Well, the actual problem with Yoshi is not in his representation, but as in what he is and how he is meant to be played in this game. Now, when you think of most characters, you can think of them as high-skilled, low-skilled, or somewhere in between, right? For instance, Sheik is pretty high-skilled, and unfortunately, you don't get a lot back for her, but she's very high-skilled. Kirby is very low-skilled. Now, I am not saying you can have success or cannot have success with certain characters depending on their skill level, but I am saying that most characters that are low-skilled should not be as good as characters as high-skilled. Now, of course, there are going to be exceptions. Ganondorf is the most brain-dead character in this game, but he's not the worst character in this game. Likewise, Sheik is one of, if not the most difficult characters to completely master, and she is not even high tier. Well, then, you know, why are you complaining about Yoshi? Yoshi's pretty good, right? He's got some technical stuff. And yes, as much as I hate and talk about Yoshi being the most brain-dead character in the game, there is some skill that you need to have to play Yoshi well. Saying that, though, Yoshi has a lot of things that just work for no reason. He has a lot of benefits that he shouldn't have. And he's just very annoying. And he's fast. Like, there's just a lot of things that just add up to this character being poorly designed. And for the most part, Nintendo has done a really good job on designing characters, the way that most people imagined them. For instance, King K. Rool plays exactly like you would think King K. Rool will. Mario, at first you're like, how is he gonna play? But when you look at him in Smash Bros, it makes total sense. So now, why do I have such a big problem with Yoshi? And Yoshi's been around since the beginning. Have you always had this problem with Yoshi? Really, starting around Brawl is when I've had this problem with Yoshi. Yoshi started to become a little bit easier to use, and very good. Now, he was good in Melee, don't get me wrong, and he was fairly good in 64 as well, but it wasn't quite a one-to-one ratio until starting out beginning of Brawl, but mainly Smash 4 is when I really started having a problem with Yoshi. Yoshi, as a whole, is designed to be very easy. Now, look at Kirby, look at Yoshi, characters that little kids would mainly choose to play as, and characters that would be very easy for kids to pick up. Now, I'm not saying that you have to have this insanely high skill cap for every single character before you can, you know, have them in Nintendo's Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. But Yoshi is targeted for little kids as a whole for them to be able to be picked up. Because, you know, let's be honest here, Yoshi and Kirby kind of are designed for younger kids. Not saying you can't enjoy them as you get older, but that's how they're designed to be. Kirby, as a whole, is not very good in this game. Not saying you can't have success with the character, but he's just not that good. Yoshi, on the other hand, is very good. Insanely good. Now, I'm not saying he's top tier, but unfortunately Yoshi is very easy to use. And the problem is, you can put in very little effort and do very well with him. Now, why doesn't everyone play Yoshi? Well, some people don't have fun with Yoshi, some people have connections to certain characters, and things like that. But as a whole, Yoshi is very good for the amount of effort that you have to put into him. So is that it? Is that all that we have wrong with him? No. Oh no. He's got a lot of moves that just shouldn't work, or certain aspects about him that should just not be in the game as a whole. For instance, the biggest problem I have with Yoshi, you could be comboing Yoshi, right? You could be doing up tilt to up air with Mario, and you're starting to do this combo, and Yoshi can just jump out of it. What? You can jump out of combos as Yoshi. Now, I understand why they implemented this, because Yoshi's recovery without his double jump would be awful. But instead of having him use the flutter jump as invincibility, maybe you could just give him a good recovery and have the double jump still be the flutter jump, and maybe not give him invincibility. You know that, like, that's totally something you could do. I mean, look at Kirby, for instance. I'm going to compare Yoshi and Kirby a lot because they're designed relatively for the same kind of people. Kirby's recovery is very punishable. Now, it's got a lot of benefits. He's got a lot of jumps, stuff like that. But he has a really big problem with being able to be edge-guarded because you can just spike him. Now, Kirby can mix things up, and, you know, of course, directional air dodges help this character. But Yoshi's is just kind of ridiculous. Now, without the heavy armor, would his recovery be nerfed? Oh, most definitely. But I think that's kind of how he should be, because Yoshi is not that hard of a character to pick up. Now, I'm not saying... So, I'm saying Yoshi has a low minimum skill requirement, but he does have a fairly large high skill cap. Like, there's a lot of room for in-between skill play with Yoshi. I believe Yoshi's skill cap should be lowered a little bit, and they should make his skill minimum stay the same, so therefore he would still be a decent character. I think this character should be right around, at best, right around the middle of mid-tier. I don't think this character should be getting close or even in question for high tier. But of course, that is where Yoshi resides. Now, what are some other moves that I have problems with? His Nair out of shield is pretty obnoxious. Now, saying that, if they nerf his double jump and they take away the heavy armor, I feel like Yoshi would already drop to, at best, the middle of mid-tier, and he would be significantly less annoying. A lot of people complained about, for instance, Hero for his down B for being RNG. The problem is with Hero is not because any of his certain moves are bad, except for the fact that his main function kind of goes against the rest of the game. Why should Yoshi be able just to get out of combos in the air for free? He shouldn't. I'm not saying he can't get out of every single combo, but he can get out of a lot of things he shouldn't be able to just by jumping. That is a part of the game I feel is just not something that should happen. There shouldn't be a character who can just get out of a ton of combos for free. But that's just my opinion. If they get rid of that, I feel like that is a justified thing to get rid of. Nerfing his Nair, or nerfing his back air, or something like that, taking the down air damage down a bit, and shield damage a bit, I feel like those are justified nerfs, but I don't think that those aren't the main focus of the character. That's not the main problem I have with the character. The main problem I have with the character is that he can jump out of combos for free. He has insane movements, yes. He has a lot of really good and powerful moves, yes. He has a lot of ability to combo you with things and kill you with things really early with really easy moves. Yes, those are all things that I have problems with, but not nearly as bad as his double jump armor. So, while I feel like I could go more in depth in this, I feel I gotten the most of my rage and my rant out of the way. So, guys, if you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like. If you really enjoyed, make sure to subscribe. Hit up that Discord server and my Instagram. I use those fairly commonly every once in a while, sometimes. Just check them out. We have a community there, and that is the best way to hang out with Triviality's community. Alright, guys, stay sexy, stay spicy. Peace. Wait a minute real quick, before we go, I forgot to mention this in the video, but we will be having a tournament going on Friday through Saturday, May 22nd through 23rd. And you may be saying, well, wait a second, 2 days. That's right, it will be a 16-hour stream. We'll be having a tournament, we'll be doing Jackbox, we'll be doing other games as well. We'll have a good old time, 16 hours of Triviality. It'll be my longest stream ever, and it will be a ton of fun. Don't miss it. Check it out. Alright. Again, stay sexy, stay spicy, and peace.